From the time of Moses, 3,500 years ago, the Church has been adorning her sacred spaces at the instruction of the Lord. Ad Crucem seeks to continue this tradition to the best of our ability as we create beautiful things to point us to Christ crucified for sinners. See our posters, greeting cards, artwork and banners, each proclaiming the good work that our Lord has done for us. Visit adcrucem.com. That's ADCRUCEM.com.
You're listening to the Lutheran Ladies Lounge podcast. I'm Sarah.
I'm Erin.
I'm Bree.
And I'm Rachel.
Today, we have a super fun wild card with props and crafting. So this is going to be amazing. So today we're doing what to do with those pesky Thrivent t-shirts that I know all of you have piling up in your closet or elsewhere because they don't all fit in your closet or dresser after a while.
Pesky.
Pesky.
I love those things.
I do love them.
They're
Family
only
of 6. I wonder how many that means.
Right.
50 maybe.
50.
We could all wear one like 3 days a week and be good.
It's true.
It's true.
Wow.
It is true.
So before we even start though, I'm going to give a shout out to the KFUO t-shirts.
That is true.
Which are also soft and meant for wearing.
Superior.
Superior t-shirts.
I would agree with that.
They are.
Actually.
I feel they're slightly more beefy.
Oh, yes, they are.
That.
Beefy?
Yeah.
They're a little beefier cotton. The weave is a little beefier, but still very soft.
It's the same tri
I see
blend,
what
but
you
it's a
mean.
different
Flimsy.
brand. Yes, it's not
It
quite
is
as thin.
beefier.
Yeah,
Feels like a steak on my body.
Uh-huh.
but a soft and comfortable steak.
Feels like
I
a
love
pork.
that Erin is able to pick up 2 t-shirts and tell you all the distinctive differences in the fabric. You are a true expert.
Tri-tip.
It's true.
And this is a sirloin. Like, what? Okay.
Okay, Bree, before we get down that tangent.
Right. Before I
go.
start talking about
Yeah.
beef more. Okay.
That's
So
Food.
I don't know about you all, but I have come to a point in my life where I have more of those Live Generously t-shirts from Thrivent that I can count. And so I was sort of a stranger, unfamiliar with the Live Generously t-shirts until we became members at Timothy Lutheran Church in the city. And so my collection just kept, every time we did a service project, I felt my collection just kept growing and growing and growing some more. So today I want to give you a little background on how those shirts came to be, why they're coming out of my ears, and then what you can do with them instead of just donating them to your nearest Goodwill thrift store.
It is
Yes.
fascinating to know that these shirts can be actually seen all over the world because
Literally.
of that
Everywhere.
donation aspect.
Mhm.
I do want to
yeah.
start a Facebook group called Shirt Spotting.
Yes.
And if you see someone wearing a Live Generously t-shirt in the wild, you got to
Mhm.
snap a pic and share on
Sometimes-
Facebook.
Sometimes I see them like when I'm out grocery shopping or something, and I want to just like run up to them and be like, "High five, Lutheran!" But I feel like that.
I just go up and smile at them in a knowing way and say, "I like your t-shirt." And then they know that I know.
You said that kind of seductively, though. I would be
I'm
like,
sorry.
thanks.
No, I wouldn't.
Nice t-shirt. Where'd you get it? Sick. Sorry.
Not seductively.
Mom, this crazy lady's talking to me weird.
She said she likes my t-shirt? What does that even mean? Is that a euphemism?
Man, we're like 2 for 2 with
we
weird
are.
tangents.
We
We're
are.
3
Sorry.
minutes in.
Okay, but the point is, if you see someone in a Live Generously t-shirt, either they shop at Goodwill or they are in some way connected to a Lutheran church.
That's correct.
And so it is if you see one in an airport, chances are, if you strike up a conversation, you'll find either you both love thrifting or you both love Lutheran theology. And
It's true.
It's kind of cool.
Mhm.
So just to give you a little background, these Live Generously t-shirts come to you after you apply for a Thrivent Action Team Grant. These grants allow you to make a difference in your community and are a popular and convenient way for LCMS congregations to fund service projects. So, Timothy, we have several Thrivent customers that go to Timothy that will utilize their Thrivent Action Team abilities to perform service projects. And any of the ones that I've been involved with, they will give me a shirt. So, about yearly, the design and the color change. And I am not a Thrivent customer, so I've never personally applied for an Action Teams grant. I'm not sure how many shirts come with the kit.
I don't know either, but whenever one of those happens, it seems like there's an abundance of
An
t-shirts.
overabundance, yeah, absolutely. So I cannot begin to tell you how many Live Generously t-shirts I either have or have given away. Now, I will say that it's somewhat of a good sign that they are everywhere and anywhere, because it's a reflection of our church's desire to serve neighbors, our church communities.
Mhm.
But who really needs a dozen Live Generously t-shirts to wear? Right? They feel fantastic, but surely there are ways that you can use them other than wearing them. So,
Well, let's see here. You will eventually get more than you can use, but if you have like a couple for workouts, one for painting in, like 3 or 4 for sleeping in, yeah, that'll use up quite a few. But for the
True.
ones that you need
for the 50
over
that
and
you have
above,
left.
right? Yeah.
So, in the spirit of our culture's persistent call for sustainability, which includes the activities of recycling, upcycling, and reusing items that are past their prime, or you don't have room for them, I would like to present you some options for upcycling all those pesky Live Generously t-shirts that you own. So,
Yes, I love it.
before you go and Marie-Kondo all your Live Generously t-shirts, I'd like to offer 10 ways in which you can upcycle these. And at the end of the show, I will be including one no-sew, S-E-W, DIY craft that you can bring with you today.
Yes.
I love no-sew.
I will also be sharing all of the tutorials for all of the crafts that I share today. And as for the DIY at the end, I have step-by-step photos for the most part. So we'll also share those steps in the show notes as well.
And you're currently wearing this
Yes,
craft, which is
I
amazing.
am currently wearing it, but I want to save it as a surprise. So
we won't
we're
I won't
gonna
describe
push forward on
Let's
this.
do it.
Little known fact, maybe. T-shirts make for really great yarn that especially can be colorful and chunky. So the following crafts, I should say, the first 3 crafts that I mention on the show today can use t-shirt thread to knit, braid, crochet, or weave. I will describe how to make t-shirt yarn at the end of the episode. But just be aware that most of the activities here in general are no-sew.
I love it.
So,
No.
no-sew, but also sew. Here are 3 different crafts that you can make using t-shirt yarn that you make from your Live Generously t-shirts.
Yes.
You can make braided t-shirt rugs.
Yes.
Super comfy. Kitchen mats, maybe. You can make them colorful. They're obviously absorbent, sometimes moisture wicking. Get on it. You should do it. I've seen tutorials for square rugs, rectangle rugs. I've seen tutorials for very decorated, like festive round rugs that you can make out of t-shirts. You can also sort of in the same vein, although this is probably more of a loom situation or like a weaving situation than a braiding situation, but you can use t-shirt thread to create potholders and placemats. And for those dog owners out there who don't want to spend an arm and a leg on dog toys, which can be kind of extra, you can also braid your dog one of those cloth tug-of-war rope toys that are so very popular.
Yes.
Okay.
I have to say, I have several rag rug, quote unquote, rag rugs. I bought a few, but like my husband's grandma made some. She has boxes of the t-shirt thread you're going to talk about, boxes of this to weave rag rugs, and I love them.
I'm so glad you mentioned this because it's been on my bucket list for ages to make a rag rug for exactly the reason you're saying, Sarah. It's this craft that everyone's grandma, not everyone's grandma, many grandma of our grandmas knew how to do. And it was just
grandmas.
a way to reuse old fabrics.
Yeah.
I had one rag rug from my husband's grandmother for a long time, and she had not just used one kind of fabric. It wasn't all t-shirts. Like, I'm pretty sure I saw some old school, like, knee-high stockings in there. Because you just it's a classic way to reuse old fabric. And that's exactly what we're talking about here.
Yep.
So, Sarah, I love that you love these too. I did not know that, but now I'm happy.
Yes, I actually have one, a huge one in my office in this building, in my cubicle. It's on my floor. It is brightly colored, and I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering right, this is one that I bought from Aldi. I think it was made in India, so it's like sari, the sari fabrics.
Prints. Yeah.
So it's beautiful fabric. So it's like super colorful. And another one I have at home is old denim because it's all blue denim.
Oh, wow.
So you can make one out of denim. And then it would be like really durable and a nice rich blue color.
For sure.
Yeah.
You could even use that outside as like a doormat.
Yeah.
Even.
Man, I love these. I love them so much.
That's awesome. I've also seen, I don't have them in the notes here, but I've also seen what are called snuffle mats for dogs while we're talking about rugs and pets.
Oh, yes.
They are sort of like a toy that it's like very highly tufted carpet, but you could totally take strips of t-shirt and tie them up and make like a high pile rug situation.
That would not be 18 inches. She just demonstrated that.
Right.
That's a higher pile.
That's a gigantic t-shirt that you would need. But it's like a high pile, and then you hide like treats. And so maybe even like cats would be good for like. So they spend time like rooting around the snuffle mat for
my goodness,
for
I
treats.
love it.
So it's kind of the rug concept, only a little bit different.
Oh man,
it's tying knots, I think, instead of weaving.
I love it.
That's cool.
That's amazing.
So you can make t-shirt thread to create a variety of different items for your use. But did you also know that you can upcycle t-shirts for home decor?
Tell me how, Brie.
Okay, I will. So one of, I think, the coolest ways that you can upcycle a Live Generously t-shirt is to make throw pillow covers with them. The tutorial that I am sharing in the show notes, I believe it is, you do have to have some sewing skill in order to make them.
But it's like straight lines.
Yeah, I
can
have
do straight
to
lines.
imagine
You can do it.
Yeah, I imagine it's fairly easy to do. And while I probably would not put Live Generously throw pillows like in a formal living room sort of situation, I think it would be totally cool to put them in a family room, like in like a basement sectional sofa. I'm thinking of my sister's basement right now as I'm describing this. And they have a sectional, like a rumpus room, your kids' room, whatever.
How about the youth lounge at church or the ladies' lounge if you are lucky enough to have one?
That is, I didn't even think of that. Jiminy Christmas, that's a good idea. Man. Another way that you can use t-shirts for home decor it was kind of an interesting craft that I found online. You can create t-shirt floral wreaths.
I love this one.
So you take one of those like wreath bases, like the foam donut, I guess is what I would call it. I don't know what the official shape is called. And you basically cut pieces of the t-shirt material. Each circle is smaller than the one before it. You make kind of like a rosette situation. And then you just glue the little flowers to the wreath. The picture that I saw online is just absolutely gorgeous. And it's someone's front door wreath and I just am in love with it. And I kind of want to do that for myself. So I
Yeah.
might.
So much color.
It is so much color.
It's amazing.
On a related note, you can also make pom-pom hanging decorations
Oh boy.
using old bits of t-shirt and using that same sort of method on a smaller scale. You can make t-shirt pom-pom Christmas ornaments.
What?
I think I should make Chrismon colored t-shirt ornaments.
These are amazing.
I know, right?
They're so colorful, Brie.
Beautiful.
Oh my
And
goodness.
super way to make good use out of all of those t-shirts. We all know that the Live Generously t-shirts come in a wide variety of colors.
Mhm.
So there's really no way that you can go wrong using these for that kind of activity.
It's true.
As an expert in fashion trends, maybe you didn't know this.
I didn't know this.
It is true.
I am. Little known fact, I guess.
Oh, I knew that you were. I didn't know anything about fashion trends myself, as I am not an
Okay.
expert.
Okay, so I am, though. And to be clear, I can tell you that sustainability in fashion is in. It's in, and it always will be, I feel like, and at least it should be. So I found a few items that you can put in your closet or in your, never mind, I don't, just a closet,
Your
I guess.
wardrobe.
Your wardrobe, your
Dresser drawers.
armoire, whatever, alcoves and such that can be made from your old t-shirts. The
love
first
it.
one will require some sewing skill, but there's a really cute tutorial out there for a ruffle skirt t-shirt dress. And it looks like it probably requires a couple of t-shirts, but I think that provides an opportunity for it to be a little extra colorful. So yeah, I don't have any sewing ability, but it's a cute dress. And if I did, I'd probably try to make it for myself.
Well, my mother, who's sewn a lot of dresses in her life, unlike me, who has sewn exactly one, she is always telling me that if you've got a bunch of little girls to dress, one way to make it super easy is to just sew a skirt on a t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
Because the hardest part of doing the t-shirt or doing a dress, usually, Erin, you can back me up on this, is the bodice and the sleeves.
Yeah.
And if you have that
Interesting.
t-shirt base ready to go, you can turn it into, and of course, dresses are great for little girls because it's like, you don't have to argue about every article of clothing in the outfit. You just throw one on and go. So they're great. And if you had a Live Generously t-shirt, you could cut it a little shorter, or, they come in smalls. And often the smalls are what are left over at the end of the day.
I know, right?
Sew a skirt on that, maybe a skirt made from another Live Generously t-shirt, and you've got a DIY play dress. Good to go.
Beautiful. One of the websites that I'm going to link to that sort of lists out some additional crafts. There is some beautiful stuff, beautiful clothing, different ways to sort of rewear or restyle your t-shirts. Definitely check that out. I think there are varying levels of creativity that are necessary for this kind of a thing, but I think it's a great way that you can recycle any sort of old things or things that you're just not wearing anymore. You can make reusable t-shirt bags.
Yes.
The tutorial that I linked to uses an old Snoopy
Pretty
t-shirt.
adorable.
It's
really
really
cute. I kind of want to do it. And it's no sew.
Yes. If you've made those like the blankets where you sew two pieces of fleece together,
Mhm.
that is
It's a
exactly
tie blanket.
that is the skill you will need to have to do this.
Correct.
It is.
I can do it.
very
I can do that.
very manageable.
Now, I will say, speaking about blankets, t-shirt quilts are very popular.
Yeah, they
that
are.
might be another good use for your t-shirts. I will say that there are several companies out there where if you just cut your t-shirts to a specific size and specific parameters, you can mail them in to the
Yep.
company and they will make a quilt for you.
Yep.
I have, for t-shirt quilts, I've used Project Repat, and those are it's a pretty penny for like a queen size quilt, but I don't know how to quilt. And I'd
Yeah, I don't
probably
either.
spend more money trying to do it myself than just throwing them in a box, sending
Well,
them in.
and
bringing
as
back to
Aaron
church.
would remind us, if you're paying somebody to do a highly skilled piece of craftsmanship for you, don't quibble about the paying. Pay the
no.
maker what the maker deserves.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So you've arrived at the point. I think I've done way more than 10
Held
different
us in
ideas that we've
suspense.
talked about. But it is now time to talk about the one t-shirt upcycling activity that I did for this episode.
Yes.
What I am wearing before you all right now is a t-shirt infinity scarf.
What?
Using the, I guess turquoise would be this color.
Yeah.
Turquoise. This is the turquoise t-shirt from I think maybe 4 years ago.
I have that one.
And last year's Live Generously t-shirt with the new hand.
Mm-hmm.
It was the new
Mm.
design.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one. It's kind of my favorite one. Sorry.
Oh, really?
offense. I
Cut it up.
I did, but I have 2 of them. So
It's okay.
it's fine.
Uh-huh.
So here's how it goes. The first thing that I'm going to do today is teach you how to make t-shirt yarn.
Okay.
Okay.
So I use 2 t-shirts for mine. Depending on how full you want it or how colorful you want it, you may want to use more. First thing you do, you lay out your first shirt. You cut off the bottom seam widthwise.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, you will cut strips widthwise up
Mhm.
the shirt.
Okay.
I probably get, and it depends, it really does depend on how thick you make your strips. I probably try to get 12 to 15 strips out of each t-shirt. I will say that if you cut up into the area that has the print on it, you're not going to get the thread like
It won't,
consistency
because it doesn't stretch.
because it won't stretch. That's
yeah.
correct.
Yep.
So once you have your t-shirt strips, and these should be infinite loops, it should just be one cut across the t-shirt,
Mhm.
and it should basically be a ring of t-shirt fabric.
Right.
Once you've done all your strips, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to hold the strips on each side, kind of like you're holding the steering wheel, right?
10 and 2.
10 and 2.
Safety
It's
first.
more like 9 and 3, but that's okay. And what you're gonna do is actually, that's a good word, is a stretch. You're gonna pull out the ring, and as you're pulling and stretching on the ring,
like pasta.
like kind of like
Making
making noodles,
Making
absolutely.
noodles.
The t-shirt will curl in on itself and just make this really like cute, like fat, colorful thread that you can use to either braid or weave, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
But with the infinity scarf, all you need to do at that point is take all of your strips, pull them. I put these strips to work. I pull them, I double them over and pull them, I twist them. It's a good arm workout, actually, if you want me to be honest with you. It's been good. So I probably ended up with almost 30 strips. I was not, between the 2 t-shirts, I was not consistent on the width of the strips. So there is some irregularity there. That doesn't bother me so much as like the seams showing, because you are going to have the side seams of the t-shirt exposed. So what I did to prevent one side of the seams from showing is I clustered generally one seam side. I sort of aligned on one half of the scarf all of the side seams, and I will provide pictures in the show notes so you know what I'm talking about. At that point, what you want to do is cut one more strip of fabric from the t-shirt. And what you're basically going to do, I cut a strip from the t-shirt widthwise, but then I cut it in half because you don't need the whole shebang. And basically what I did was I wrapped the strip around all of the threads, spaghetti noodles, the t-shirt noodles, to sort of fasten it in place.
Yeah.
And so that's sort of your the back of the scarf and see, I tried to conceal the seams. Obviously, it didn't work, but I was also kind of in a rush. So that's about it.
That's cool.
That is
It's
is
It's
really
pretty
cool.
fetch. It is
Uh-huh.
fetch. And I think that it might be a nice rainy day craft. This
Oh,
might
yeah.
be for, kids who are on summer vacation. This might be a good activity for your kids if they are exhibiting an interest in like textile arts or sewing. This is a nice entry point into that. I can't sew a button, and I was able to make this. Now, if I had more time, I'd probably put a little more thought into it. I have seen designs where they slide beads on, or they will do sort of the wrap situation, but they'll only take certain sections and it'll be like a different color. So it's kind of like a cloth bead wrap.
Cool.
Around. There are different ways that you can embellish. I think if you wanted a fuller scarf, you could use additional t-shirts, but really the sky's the limit on these. You could make those flowers that are on that floral wreath
and put them on
and just glue them on. Like it's
fancy.
If you wanted more of a necklace, you could do like a necklace or a bracelet. What I did for the bottom seam, this did not hit for much longer than probably 30 minutes, but I made like a twist headband, head wrap thing you could do.
Yeah.
So really, I mean, it's super fun. It's a great way to use some of your t-shirts instead of running them to Goodwill. And frankly, like I'd wear it to work. It's kind of not professional, but professionally done, I should say. But it's fun and I like it. So
It's comfy.
It's comfy.
Yeah.
And my neck is sweating real bad right now. And you know that these t-shirts are absorbing all of that neck sweat. So there's that too.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
So DIY t-shirt infinity scarf, everyone.
Super cool.
I hope Thrivent doesn't get mad that I'm
Well,
like,
I have two things to add to this
t-shirts.
before we close. Just two things to say. One is thank you, Thrivent. These t-shirts, there's a reason we all wear them and like them. They're ubiquitous because they're comfortable. They are generously given out. And the logo and the message are things that we can all get behind. Well, that live generously. That's not a message I'm embarrassed to wear out in public.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because wherever you sit, it's a good message. The other thing is I have one thing to add to your list, Brie. I found out recently, I hadn't even thought about this until you started talking about the t-shirt yarn and how to make it. I have a thing that you should not use your Thrivent t-shirts for.
Okay.
Because recently I had a cause to use t-shirts, cut up t-shirts, because I had been tasked with organizing and running the 3-legged race at my kids' field day.
Oh,
And I was like, my mom said, maybe something like rope or twine. And I was like, are you kidding? Twine? No.
Ow.
I'll use t-shirts. They're super soft.
ouch.
Don't use t-shirts for the 3-legged race. Especially if you have more than one 3-legged race, like back to back to back, because the t-shirts will get more and more like twine, actually, as the day goes on.
So
if
many
someone has-
broken ankles.
Well, just it was fine. Everyone was really good about it. I didn't have anything else, and we had a great time. We really did. However, people who have run 3-legged races before, give me a shout out. Tell me what you used to tie everyone's legs together, because I did not guess right. I guessed wrong.
Do you know what else I
Whoops.
use some t-shirt thread for? So I have some craft gift bags in my car right now.
Yeah.
And like if they're filled, you obviously you can like connect, you can sort of gather all the handlebars, the handles up top, but then you've got like it all like sort of flares out and it's a big old mess and it's hard to contain.
Yeah.
So I took some t-shirt thread and I tied it around the bag handles. And so it's like a handy, like carrying handle.
Nice.
And because there's no it's pretty well reinforced, right? Even though it feels like a sirloin steak, which is not as beefy. It's still, I mean, and I have a bunch of t-shirt scraps on my kitchen table now, and I'm just using them for stuff.
I will also say, you mentioned a headband. My husband's grandma, Depression era, they used everything for everything.
Yep.
But I have some headbands from her that were from the sleeves. So when you cut up your t-shirts, when you have the sleeves left, if you cut the sleeves into that same like strip, those are headbands because they're smaller. And so when they stretch, they'll stretch to a closer to your head shape.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Those stretch quite a bit.
I love those Depression era life hacks.
Yeah.
Or
you can try it.
What you could do, Aaron, for those with big heads, use a kid's size of this shirt width. That might be good.
I think it probably also depends how snug you want your headband. My headbands have to be pretty snug, otherwise they fall off my head because I have a weird shape.
And that bothers me too.
I hate it so much. Yeah. So I don't know. You can try it.
Yeah.
If you're cutting your t-shirt up anyway.
Exactly. It's totally worth a try.
And frankly, I would love to know if any of the ladies in the Facebook group either A, try out any of these tutorials. We'd love to see your photos. Or if you use t-shirts for any other activity or upcycle t-shirts for anything other than what we've talked about today, I would love to hear about that too. I mean, a simple Google search of reusing old t-shirts or t-shirt upcycle or whatever is going to yield tens of hundreds of thousands, I don't know, just many, many, many results that we did not talk about here. So
lots of great ideas.
Lots of great and creative ideas. Have a great time crafting, and you can do it in such a way that you feel good about reducing, reusing, and recycling.
Yes, exactly.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So we'll share all of those links in the show notes, as well as photos of the t-shirt scarf. We'll try to get those up on social media too. Sometimes I forget until the next Friday, and then I'm like, time for the next episode.
Whoops.
Too late. Whoops. So I'll
send those to you now.
We'll try to do all of that so you can see what we're talking about too. And yes, we would love to see your own ideas if you make any of these, or if you have your own things that you reuse, upcycle your own t-shirts for. We would love to see those in our Facebook group. Join us there, the Lutheran Ladies Lounge on Facebook. You can also follow us on Instagram and share your photos there with us. Tag us at Lutheran Ladies Lounge. We'd love to see them there as well. If you aren't on social media, you can also get our e-newsletter in your inbox. You can find out how to do that in the show notes for this episode, or you can just send an email to lutheranladies@kfuo.org and we'll get you signed up for that e-newsletter. You can find all of our episodes at kfuo.org/Lutheran Ladies Lounge, or on the KFUO radio app, or on your favorite podcasting app. You're listening to the Lutheran Ladies Lounge podcast. I'm Sarah.
I'm Aaron.
I'm a domestic goddess.
And I'm not.
But you sew dresses more than me. You
sewed
mean
exactly one dress. And
That's more than I've sewn.
Right.
It looks okay.
Demi-goddess. Ew.
All right, demi-goddess. I'll take that.
Okay.
Domestic that's a demi-goddess is half a goddess. How about a quarter goddess? Is there such a thing?
Quasi-goddess? I don't know.
Sure. I don't know.
Goddess math. I don't know goddess fractions.
She's not a very good goddess.
Honestly. But it's okay.
KFUO Radio and the Lutheran Ladies Lounge podcast are underwritten in part by Ad Crucem. Visit them online at adcrucem.com. Views and opinions expressed on the Lutheran Ladies Lounge podcast may not represent the official position of the management or ownership of KFUO Radio, the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. The Lutheran Ladies Lounge is produced by KFUO Radio and available at kfuo.org or wherever you get your podcasts. Join our community on Facebook in the Lutheran Ladies Lounge.
And this is not the scarf. That's my headphones cord. I was like, I broke it already. But I didn't.
You can also join our... Nope.